With less than a week before Kafka comes out, we are finally able to see what exactly is going to be on her Lightcone banner, which is going to be something very, very important because a lot of people, and I mean almost 99% of the population of Honkai Star Rail, is going to be summoning for Kafka. And with that being said, a lot more people are going to want the Lightcone as well to go alongside with her. So we're going to see, is it worth it? How good is the banner? What good are the 4 stars on it? We're going to be looking at all of that today. And let's go ahead and start with the 4-star lineup. And this is going to be the Birth of the Self as the first Lightcone on the banner. Now this is going to be an erudition card, and it's going to have the passive of increased damage dealt by the wearer's follow-up attack by 24%. And it is very good to have. It's not attack, it's not defense, not HP or anything like that. It's going to be final damage dealt bonus by 24% only on follow-up attacks, which is pretty good. If the current HP of the target enemy is below or equal to 50%, increase damage dealt by follow-up attacks by extra 24%. Now this can get absolutely insane, especially at super imposition level 5. This could be really crazy. Now the character that definitely is going to work very, very well with this is of course Herta, because of course she does get her follow-up attacks when enemies are under 50%. So this works very, very well with her. If you are a Herta main or you looking to use Herta in the future, she's definitely going to be benefiting from this Lightcone a lot. Now when it comes to other characters like Himiko, Jing Yuan, all these other characters, I do think that there are better Lightcones for erudition for sure to be able to put on them, just because this is only going to be basically buffing your follow-up attacks. And characters like Himiko, characters like Qingchui, characters like Jing Yuan, they're going to be able to benefit more from having attack buffs for their whole kit rather than having a damage dealt buff from just the follow-up attacks. Yes, it is part of their kit, but it's not the major source of damage or the major source of what they're going to be doing on the field. So this Lightcone can be good if you're looking to build Herta, but other than that, not really the great Lightcone for erudition. Now the next one is going to be a Nihility Lightcone, which is going to be Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat. Now this one for sure is a very, very strong one. I do know the passive already by heart, but let's go ahead and read it. When the wearer hits an enemy and the hit enemy is not ensnared, there is a 60% base chance to apply ensnare on the hit enemy. Ensnared enemies have defense decreased by 12% for 1 turn. Now for sure, this is by far one of the strongest Nihility Lightcones for sure, and can be put on any one of them, just because in the Nihility path, you are going to have characters that are debuffing enemies, whether it be by their speed, their attack, their defense, all that type of stuff. You're going to be debuffing them no matter what, and having this Lightcone is just going to add more utility to that character. Having it on a character like Pella, having it on a character like Silverwolf, or any of these other characters, especially Luca, because he is going to be coming out and he will be able to benefit from this. Just overall a very good Lightcone to have on any character that is on Nihility, because you overall are going to be giving your team more damage from being able to reduce defense on the enemy. And for bosses, for really healthy mobs, this is going to be very great in making it easier to, whittle them down with your attacks, and also make it a lot faster with being able to decrease their defense. And it's super easy. Although it lasts for 1 turn, this base chance with super impositions goes up by a pretty good amount. And other than that, you are going to be hitting multiple times, so there's a good chance you are going to be getting this proc off no matter what every turn. So this is overall a very, very great Lightcone for sure. So this is one that you would hope to pick up if you do summon on this banner. And then the last 4-star, Eyes of the Prey. Now this for sure, as a Nihility Lightcone, this is by far going to be one of the best Lightcones that you could possibly get if you're summoning for Kafka. If you want Sampo and you want to build Sampo, which he's going to be a very core component of Kafka's team, and also works on Luca, works on Serval, it works on a fat ton of characters, especially when they have dots because of the passive, which is going to be increase the wearer's effect hit rate by 20% and increase the applied dot by 24%. Having this Lightcone on dot characters is going to help them by a lot, especially for characters like Kafka, Sampo, Luca. Having their effect hit rate boosted up by 20% is going to help them a lot more when building them, when making sure that you're more consistent in being able to apply these dots on them. And not only that, the dot that you do apply is going to be increased by 24%. And when you have Kafka on the team, which of course, if you're summoning on this Lightcone banner, you're most likely already going to be getting Kafka, her being able to re-trigger the dots that are on these enemies is going to be absolutely insane, especially when you have this Lightcone on maybe multiple characters, or you have a really strong one with multiple superimpositions on one character. The dots that she's going to be re-triggering over and over and over through her skill, her ultimate, and the end of turn is going to be a fat ton of damage for sure. And this is something that a lot of characters are going to be able to use in the Nihility path, just because the effect hit rate is so strong, and the dots that you can apply from this as well is going to be insane when you do have this Lightcone on. Of course, it's going to work on Sampo the best, but it's going to generally work on any dot character that you're going to be putting with Kafka, which is going to be the core component of her team. Now going on to the most wanted part of this video, which is going to be the 5-star Lightcone. Now Kafka's Lightcone is going to be a Nihility Lightcone, which is going to be patience is all you need. Now this is a very long passive, so bear with me. Spiderweb is going to be increasing damage dealt by the wearer by 24%, which is really nice. It's unconditional across her whole kit. After every attack unleashed by the wearer's speed increases by 4.8%, stacking up to 3 times. So it's going to be around 13 to 14% extra speed on top of what you're going to have on Kafka already. If the wearer hits an enemy target that is not afflicted with the road, there is a 100% base chance to inflict the road on the target. Enemies afflicted with the road are also considered to be shocked and will receive lightning dot damage at the start of each turn, equal to 60% of the wearer's attack, lasting for 1 turn. So basically, it's kind of in the same fashion as Silver Wolves, where you're actually getting an extra debuff or an extra effect to the enemy when you end up using this Lightcone. Just like how we have the Aether Code implanted when you use Silver Wolves Lightcone, we're also going to have an extra dot called a road, which is going to be a lightning dot. And this is very nice to have. It's going to be making it a lot easier to be able to stack more dots on the enemy, being able to do more damage as Kafka's retriggering it over and over again. Now for sure, this is going to be a very great Lightcone for Kafka. The damage dealt is going to help you with your skill, help you with your ult, also help with the dots taken by the enemies. This is overall just amazing damage buff overall for her kit, so this is a very good stat to have. And the thing that is really good about this is the extra speed that you get, that you're going to be stacking up to 3 times. Now of course, more basic Kafka builds are going to be running speed boots, so being able to have speed boots, her base speed all being buffed up from the extra stacks of speed is going to allow her to get more turns, is going to allow her to re-trigger a lot more often, which is going to lead to a lot more damage. I think in most scenarios for Kafka over other DPSs, this is going to be a very good Lightcone for her. And then of course, having that extra dot is going to help a lot. Now talking about Kafka's Lightcone banner, is it a must summon? Should you summon on it? My opinion, I do think this Lightcone banner isn't too bad. I think the only one that isn't as good as I would want it to be is the Birth of the Self. This Lightcone would be nice on Herta. This Lightcone can work on many Erudition characters because of course Erudition is going to be the more follow-up attack based character set. And with this being said, I know the follow-up attack damage is really nice, being able to buff it like crazy, but there are other aspects of the kit that certain characters have that you do want to buff those up as well. So this isn't the great Lightcone that you would want it to be, but the other 2 Lightcones, including the 5-star one as well, this one's just overall just one of the most amazing Nihility Lightcones for sure. Overall team damage buff, overall damage buff to your allies, and then Eyes of the Prey is one of the best Nihility Lightcones for sure when it comes to characters with dots, because you get the effect hit rate, you get the dot increased damage. It's absolutely amazing. And then Kafka's Lightcone is kind of really centered around Kafka more than anything else. It's not really that universal to other Nihility characters, but it is going to be helping out Kafka quite a bit with giving her more speed, more damage, and also giving you an extra dot when you do hit enemies. So this banner is really nice, but I do think you don't have to summon on it for sure. Eyes of the Prey is nice, Resolution Shines is really good as well, and the 5-star Lightcone is really nice, but I do think, in all honesty, you can make do with what you have. Vermata is a really good substitute for the 5-star Lightcone if you don't want to summon on Kafka's banner, and the passive is going to be increase the break effect dealt by the wearer by 16%, which is going to be really great on characters like Kafka, like Sampo, and increase their damage to enemies afflicted with shock or wind shear by 16%. This also applies to dot. Now the reason why this is so great is because shock is going to come from Kafka already, so this is going to help her a lot. Wind shear is going to be afflicted by Sampo, which majority of you should have on the team, just because Sampo is actually able to buff dots as a whole onto the enemy. So this is a really good Lightcone to have because they always will be afflicted with shock or wind for sure. And then of course the damage buff that you get when they are afflicted with those, and the break effect that you get from this is really nice because you do want to stack break effect, because you aren't going to be relying on crit rate, crit damage to do a lot of damage for the enemy. You're going to be relying more on the dots, more on the break effects to actually do the big chunks of damage for, you know, your bosses, your higher health enemies for sure. So this is basically one of the better Lightcones for Kafka if you're substituting it for the 5-star one. The only reason why I think this one's really great and overall a tier above the 5-star Lightcone is because you actually can grind this out through Memory of Chaos for free, and it is a completely free Lightcone. You don't have to summon for it. It can drop, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but you can definitely get this from Memory of Chaos, and you can get it to super in position 5 if you clear it enough times. So I do think this is a really great Lightcone to substitute after the 5-star. But in my opinion, I do think the Lightcone banner, although it is kind of nice because it will stack you up with Nihility Lightcones, both of them being really good for Sampo for dots and Luca for defense shred, I do think overall, with how many really cool light cones have been coming out, like Jing Yuan's, like Celes, like Silverwolves, there's a lot of really cool light cones coming out, and really other light cones that aren't so crazy, like Luocha's light cone, for instance, or Blades being really crazy. I just think right now, with how many light cones are having some busted stats, one being centered more around Kafka than any other character, because you are getting those dots to be able to re-trigger like crazy when it comes to having this 5-star Nihility light cone. I just think that there may be better light cone banners in the future, and I do think that some people who are getting Kafka should probably be saving a couple of gems for other characters that are going to help the dot playstyle, because I'm pretty sure Kafka's not going to be the only character that's going to be helping out this team. Kafka's just the enabler for the team. We're going to get more buffers in the future for sure. But other than that, that's pretty much my opinion on the Lightcone banner. I do think it's pretty solid. I do think Kafka's is really nice. But in all honesty, you can just go for Fermata. It's a free-to-play Lightcone. You can grind into Super Imposition 5 through Memory of Chaos. Just overall a really good pick instead of the 5-star Lightcone. So other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. See y'all in the next one, and peace.